that's not just for you. That's for any of us.
Right.
Because I just believe the sum total of who we are is shaped by our experiences. You know, there's a little bit of it that's chemical and, you know, DNA and biological, hereditary, but largely a large part of it, I think that, you know, even supersedes that for the most part, is about how you go through, how you navigate this life and the things that how you experience it. That I think shapes you more than anything.
But would I still be attracted to Latin men?
Probably.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think that's in your blood.
Big fat white lady chasing after some Paco.
Yep.
Talking about, come here, Ricardo. Heck yeah. I wonder what did they think was going to happen when they made this change? I mean,
I don't think they thought about it. I think they'd be their true self. I think they was probably thinking like I'm thinking. They'd be the same person, just in the right body.
Well, I think
exactly.
If I like most of them, I don't think they thought about it. But if they did think about it, I think they thought that like what most people think about the grass being green on the other side. They think about all the things that they don't have, that they think they're going to have, and how great it's going to be.
But they don't think about the maintenance
how
part
can
of
they?
it.
Because
they don't have an experience.
They don't know it.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
That's true. Yeah, it was actually an experience for me, like to be spending so much time with you guys. I never had, you know, to understand you guys and emotionally and see like a male's perspective and a male side. I was really like, oh damn, like, okay, some things are not as different as I thought it would be, and other things are very different than what I thought it would be. So I'm very like, and not trying to be transitioning into a man, but I can see why people never. As a woman, I never thought about a man's feelings until I was with y'all, and I was like, "Oh, y'all do have feelings. Oh, that's cute. That's cute."
Yeah, and it is different, and they're there. And the thing is, well, one of the things I thought also was interesting was they talking about how on a chemical level there's differences, like the testosterone and what it does to them.
Sure.
Even see, and a lot of this. I wish Charlie Bell was here for this, because a lot of this shit is stuff we spent years arguing about that her and her people claim to be myths. You know, there's a lot of stuff that, you know.
You talking about the differences between the sexes stuff?
Yes. Yeah. To be myths, and like men or women are the same, and the only differences are social, and, you know, and this kind of bullshit is what that is. It's straight up bullshit. Anyway, it was saying how. Well, one gentleman was saying how trans man was saying that how when he was a woman,
you can still call him a gentleman.
Yeah. Well, I guess I wanted to make it clear that I wasn't talking about it. But he was saying that when he was a woman, that he prided himself. It gets complicated because I'm talking about him when he was a woman.
I know, it's hard.
So it's like, yeah, okay. At the time of being a woman, oh, Jesus Christ.
Forget the pronouns.
Prided themselves in being a good listener, right? And just being very there for their friends and this and that, all right? And then not only did he notice, but his friends noticed, to the point that they pointed out to him that, you know what, you changing. And you used to be like, you know,
attentive,
like really attentive and would listen or whatever. Now you kind of an asshole, and you like be cutting us off and trying to solve everybody's problems and this and that. And he was saying like, he said all of a sudden, like his mind, it's like his thinking. And this is not just one person's experience. Like these things that I'm talking about, that these people reporting. Like even the doctor said, like the consistency of the experiences is mind blowing.
Yeah.
But that has to be a reason why that's such a male trait.
Right. So yeah, he's saying that he can actually feel himself thinking differently. Like now he's like, get to the point. And he's like trying to offer like the end, trying to cut to the chase and stuff like that now.
That's what men do.
And it's like it's totally different. And it's like another one was saying how he would spend, as a woman, he would spend 45 minutes in the store shopping, buying pasta and a few other knickknacks, just because
going there for one
he
thing.
couldn't decide on what to get, and like now it's just like
grab it and go.
Like his thinking is like, and I'm not my words, his words more clearly, and not to say that it's better than the woman's kind of thinking, but different.
Right, it's different.
right?
I never thought of these as male traits. I thought these was pip traits because these is how I am.
And he says,
like
now
like
he just makes decisions, like just whatever. Just like his day it just goes by so much smoother because he just makes all these decisions so much faster.
That is fascinating.
And even like dealing with people. Whenever, I don't remember if this is the same guy or a different guy because this is a very long article and then I read others as well. One was saying that dealing with people, he could give his opinion and say what he thought and walk away, and that'd be the end of it. But as a woman, it'd be like, oh my God, I hope I didn't hurt anybody's feelings and this and that, and I wonder if they got upset at what I said. And there's the
compassionate side.
Right, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
Right? So
y'all don't have no compassion, you assholes.
So this is the argument that the hormonally women are probably just wired that way, and men are wired differently.
Right, and of course, there's exceptions to every rule.
Of course,
and we're not saying that all or anything like that. But this is just further fuel for my fire of that. There are differences in men and women,
definitely,
and they don't make us either one better or worse than the other, just different, which only makes sense. That's why there's two sexes. That's why there's two genders because because they're different. Like if they were the same, what would be the point of having two?
Exactly.
When you turned me around to, because I was like Charlie Bell before we first met, the very first time we met, and then it's like, I was like,
my greatest accomplishment.
You did a good job. You did a good job. But it actually was about Danya. That's what made me, because when you pointed out, like, I have a little girl, and she acts this way, and all the girls act this way, and all the boys at their age act this way. That can't be. They're not programmed yet.
Right.
They're still developing.
Right.
How is it that happens? They're different.
Right.
And I'm like, damn, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, we come here different. We are. And then not only that, there's to prove, or to further that case, there have been studies where, in the beginning, it was like, okay, man's brain and woman's brain is different. And that was, that's sexist. That's sexist. Right. You can't do that. And so, okay, they stopped doing that. And they stopped doing the separate testing on a male brain versus female brain for drugs and different things like that. And they would just use whichever brain, and they didn't really keep a record.
Right.
Oh, but guess what? Come to find out, that's very dangerous because why? Because the man brain and the woman brain is different.
Different, right.
And
different
it reacts differently.
chemicals.
It reacts differently to chemicals, and so you have to test on both because it's not the same.
Exactly.
It's not. I mean, it's just a hormone is a chemical. So if you mix one chemical with another chemical, it might react differently. Right. So the same thing that might mix with testosterone may not mix with me. No, it's not going to work like that.
Well, that seems like that was all the blurring of politics and medicine and science and stuff like that together. That messed up us on that, because this also hurt women when it came to other health issues as well, like heart disease.
Yep.
Because they had been treating women for years the same way they treated men.
Exactly.
And they didn't get the preventative care they actually really needed because they were being treated the way men should be treated.
Exactly.
And then women would have different symptoms when they were having heart attacks. So they didn't even know they were having heart attacks because they were waiting for the same symptoms that
as the men were having. Wow.
Yeah. And one more point I want to make before we move on, because I don't want to just belabor this, but I just, like I said, I find this fascinating. If you guys want to look into this, again, the article is called "Crossing the Divide," right? And have either of you guys ever heard of Nora Vincent?
No.
Nora Vincent is a journalist, and she years back, I read her book. Yes, Dino Red does read.
He lying.
He watched too much TV to read.
I read her book, and she did that undercover thing that the journalists like to do, right? She went undercover as a man for 18 months.
Ooh.
I've heard this story.
And even that might have been on my show because I've mentioned it before. Because even after I finished it, I gave it to Wheezy, and Wheezy read it. And she backs up a lot of what these gentlemen say, even though she's still a woman. And I don't even... she's not trans. She is lesbian, and she was just saying, like, one of the things that she found fascinating was that traits in her all her life that were considered very butch when she went undercover as a man. Those same traits were seen as feminine.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
wow.
But she infiltrated like an AA type group. She she didn't just go. She got a job. She did everything. She totally cut off all her other. Like she went and got an apartment in this name. She went and got a job as a man.
How'd she learn how to pee standing up?
Yeah, I was about to say, what the hell?
For a year and a half, she infiltrated men's only groups, and the last thing she did,
from Men's Warehouse?
she even joined a monastery.
What?
Yes, a monastery. She had a Catholic background. She went and lived with the monks. This girl was hardcore
What the
about
fuck?
hers. Hardcore.
She did all that in 18 months?
She did all that in 18 months. She was hardcore. But the experience was very taxing on her. Her second book, unfortunately, was about the mental health care system because she ended up like depressed, and she, on the advice of her psychiatrist, she committed herself.
Wow.
Because she, like, trying to go back to her life or whatever, she had difficulties or whatever, and it took her a while to adjust. And then while she was there, she started the journalism in her. You know, it found stories, and so while she was there, she also started investigating, you know, just the differences between healthcare, and you know, and she went to different. She went to like a state-run one. She went to a higher end one for you know, people with money, and she went to all these different ones. And she talked about, you know, how the patient care or whatever, and how the mental health system needs to be reworked.
Wow.
But I'm a big fan of hers, and she's awesome. But yeah, one of her quotes, I can't remember what it is, but it's basically saying the same thing that I've been saying this whole time. Is just that she said now that she's told, and she's a lesbian and a feminist, you know. But now she says she's way more sympathetic towards men.
Wow.
And their experience, and find out that they don't just coast through life with no, you know.
But who? Well, I guess some women
people
think
do.
that.
You just said you didn't know men have feelings.
Yeah, but
so don't
that's
act
not,
like you wasn't one of them. Come on now.
But I don't think that. I thought y'all don't have no problems because I don't think y'all have no feelings.
Well, I think that's even worse, really. Like, you don't think we have feelings, but you think we have problems. I mean, feelings are like what makes you human.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what differentiates you between us and animals is feelings.
I think though it's that thing of like where women think of men of like, oh well they're still a man, so it doesn't. I don't really care. The same thing like some black people do is like oh, I know you have problems because you're a white person, but I don't care. You're still white.
Right.
Like so you know.
But
yeah, that's how I feel.
They think that it happens, and and you see it in writing and stuff, and like TV shows, whatever. I just saw this on this show where there's a black lesbian on. She's a firefighter. Working with cis males, and only other minority is an Asian man, and she was new on the squad. He's trying to comfort her and relate to her, and the first thing she does is push him away. Like, you don't. I don't understand this thing when you try to relate to people and they so quick to tell you can't relate to me. You not, what your experience ain't like mine. Why are you trying to relate to me? And they get angry about that and they push you away. That was her reaction. Like, you still a man. Like, yeah, you're a minority, but you still a man. And so you got all this privilege. Right. And, so you could never understand what I'm going through and da-da-da. He was like, really? Okay. I just wanted to let you know you got a friend. Bye. Right. And I was like, word, dude, word. But that's life for men. Like, what I'm saying is, like, you're a man, you can't. And yeah, I've experienced it. It's like you can't hurt, you can't feel, you can't if you do, oh, boo hoo, you're a man. Like, like
it don't count.
It don't count. And that's like that makes you no different than the oppressor. Than the oppressor. You are the oppressor at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I have I've kind of gone to bat with against people for like Madonna, for example. Madonna was coming out talking about ageism, and people were shooting her down. And this one guy got into it. He's a white dude. He's married to a black chick, and so he's like super, pro-black and all this kind of stuff, whatever. And he's a good guy. Don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of these people is like, oh, okay, if you always align yourself with the minority, and you'll always be right in the argument, and always diss, the person with the most privilege, and then you'll, that's the way to win and to be in the right.
Yeah, no,
that's bullshit.
Yeah, no.
And I'm like, no, just shut the fuck up and listen. So what? Yes, Madonna does have privilege. Yes, she's white. Yes, she's rich. And okay, you don't have to feel sorry for Madonna if you don't want to. Right. That's fine. But to tell her to sit down and shut the fuck up, and that her experience.
It's not valid.
It's not valid.
Right.
Her oppression because she experiencing stuff because she's an aging white woman. Ageism is real.
Yeah.
We know that. We've made it a federal law that you can't discriminate against it. So we've recognized that it is a real thing that people use to discriminate against people.
Plus,
you know
again,
what I mean?
why do we keep having degrees of who's suffering is